Hi, my name is Emmy. I worked for many years in the aviation industry as a flight attendant, and I know this system from the inside. Almost everything I talk about comes from my own experience. Here I reveal what airports and airlines never talk about. Their priority is saving money, not your comfort. Let's fly!
Dirty secrets of the sky. I worked 8 years as a flight attendant. I've seen what happens behind the curtain, what passengers never see and airlines don't want you to know. Let's start with the basics. Airlines don't clean. They reset. Between flights, a ground crew has about 15 minutes to service a plane with 180 seats and 4 lavatories. That's not cleaning time. That's a race. Blankets are folded, cups replaced, bins emptied. That's it. I've personally seen attendants wipe juice from a tray table with a used blanket, fold it neatly, and put it back in the overhead bin for the next flight. Once, on a Miami-Chicago turnaround, a seat was covered in vomit. The supervisor said, "Throw some coffee grounds on it, it hides the smell." No sanitizing, no replacement. Just perfume and coffee. The next passengers boarded as if nothing happened. Tray tables are the filthiest surface in the cabin. They're touched by hundreds of people a day, rarely wiped. They carry more bacteria than the lavatory handle or seatbelt buckle. What to do? Bring disinfectant wipes. Wipe your tray, belt, armrests, and touchscreen before takeoff. Never put food directly on that plastic. The air you breathe isn't fresh. The air that blows from the small nozzle above your head isn't outside air. It's bled from the engine, cooled, and recirculated. It's a closed system filled with dust, sweat particles, and microbes from previous flights. A 2015 study found 4 times more bacteria on the air vents above your seat than on airport toilet flush buttons. I've seen it firsthand. On one Los Angeles-New York flight, a man coughed for hours. By landing, half the cabin was sneezing. The air doesn't change, it just moves the germs around. What to do? Angle your overhead vent slightly away from your face to create a small air barrier. Adjust the flow every half hour. Never touch the nozzle bare-handed. Use a tissue. The rim of that vent is one of the dirtiest spots on board.
The water you drink could make you sick. In 2003, the EPA tested water from 300 aircraft. 15% contained E. coli, the same bacteria found in human waste. Those tanks aren't drained daily. Sometimes fresh water is just poured on top of what's left from the last flight. I've watched technicians refill tanks with the same hose used for waste disposal, without gloves or sanitizer. What to do? Always ask for sealed, bottled water. If they claim they're out, say, "I have a medical restriction and need sealed water only." Policy forces them to comply. Never drink coffee or tea brewed on board. It's made with tank water. You're not drinking caffeine, you're drinking whatever lives inside those pipes. The worst seat is actually the safest. People fight for the front rows thinking they'll be first out and safer. They're not. A 2007 Popular Mechanics analysis of every U.S. crash between 1971 and 2007 showed front section survival, 49%, middle, 56%, tail, 69%. The safest spot overall? Middle seat in the last row. 72% survival. Airlines never advertise this because back row seats are cheaper. Selling premium front seats brings profit. What to do? If an agent offers a paid upgrade, say calmly, "No thanks, I prefer the back, it's statistically safer." They won't argue. They know you're right. Lavatory cleaning is a myth. Lavatories are only cleaned if there's visible mess. Usually, attendants spray air freshener and shut the door. Door handles, flush buttons, sink edges, sometimes untouched for days. What to do? Use a tissue to open the door and flush. Never set your phone or toothbrush near the sink. Bacteria counts there exceed what you'd find on the floor of an airport restroom. Faulty oxygen masks. Oxygen masks are designed to give you about 15 minutes of air, enough for pilots to descend to a safe altitude. But Boeing whistleblower John Barnett revealed that 1 in 4 masks on 787 Dreamliners failed quality tests. They were still installed. Replacing them cost too much.
What to do? If masks drop, pull sharply to activate the flow. If one doesn't work, grab another. Every row has extras. And stay buckled. Most injuries during decompression happen to passengers who just unbuckled for a moment. Airlines won't tell you any of this because everything here costs money. More cleaning, better filtration, safer maintenance. The less you know, the more efficient they look. Now you know. Don't drink the water. Don't trust the air. Don't believe the marketing. Flying might be safe, but clean? Never. Airport trap. How airlines quietly make you pay more. Most people think airports are just places to wait for flights. They're not. They're machines built to extract money from passengers who don't realize they're being played. From check-in to boarding, every step is designed to make you spend more. Quietly, efficiently, without complaint. Priority check-in isn't a privilege, it's your right. Airlines want you to believe that priority check-in is only for business class or elite status. That's not true. If you have reduced mobility, medical equipment, or any special condition, you're legally entitled to priority service. They just won't tell you. I've seen people with wheelchairs waiting 40 minutes in line, while a counter agent pretends to be busy. Why? Because fewer priority passengers mean faster numbers on their report. Here's what you say. I require priority check-in under the Air Carrier Access Act. That single sentence changes everything. They'll move fast, because now you've used the language they can't argue with. The escort pass, the free companion ticket no one mentions. If you're traveling with someone who needs assistance, your companion has the right to go through security with you. No boarding pass, no ticket. It's called a gate pass or escort pass. Airlines rarely offer it because it takes extra paperwork, but if you know what to say, you'll get it. I need a gate pass for my companion to escort me to the boarding gate. If the agent refuses, add, "This is a TSA-approved escort pass for passengers with disabilities. Could you check with your supervisor?" It works in 90% of cases. The secret isn't permission, it's vocabulary. Boarding first isn't always better. You've heard it. Passengers needing special assistance may board first. Sounds respectful. But boarding first means you sit in a cramped seat for half an hour while 200 people load bags above your head. That's not comfort. It's marketing. You can board last and still get full assistance. Tell the gate agent, "I'd prefer to board last for comfort reasons. Please arrange assistance at the end of boarding." They'll do it. You'll be the last one on, the first one settled, and you won't spend 40 minutes waiting. The baggage trap. Online check-in pages push you to add a bag now to save money, but the small print says fees may vary by route. That means at the airport, an agent can apply manual discounts or waivers you'll never see online. If you're traveling for medical reasons or with mobility gear, say this. Can you check if there's an exception for medical or mobility equipment? Agents have special codes to remove or reduce fees, but only if you ask directly. They won't offer it on their own because unclaimed fees go straight to the airline's profit margin. The currency conversion scam. Ever paid with a card abroad and been offered to pay in your home currency? That's called dynamic currency conversion, and it's a trap. You're not saving money. You're paying up to 6% more through hidden exchange rates. Rule. Always choose local currency on the payment terminal. If you're asked, say, "Charge me in local currency." Every time you choose your own currency, you lose a little, and the airport gets a cut. The lounge illusion. Lounges look exclusive, but they're just another business model. You pay $60 to $100 for free snacks that cost the company less than $5. And most airports already have free quiet zones, low-noise seating areas near gates for passengers with disabilities or children. Ask this at the counter. Is there a special assistance or quiet waiting area nearby? They won't advertise it, but it exists. It's usually next to the premium lounge, just without the price tag. The bottled water trick. Security takes your water at the checkpoint. Then vendors sell it back for $4 inside. It's not about safety. It's about contracts. Airports take a percentage of every sale from retail partners. Water brings the highest margin. Bring an empty bottle. Almost every modern terminal now has free refill stations, but they're hidden. You'll find them near restrooms or family areas, not in food courts, because they don't want you to see them. The psychology of discomfort. Ever notice how airport chairs are hard, narrow, and impossible to rest on? That's intentional. They're designed to make you stand up, to walk, browse, and buy. Airports hire behavioral designers to map passenger flow like a retail store. Every path you walk, every duty-free sign, every scent of coffee is calculated to trigger a purchase. The goal isn't to move you, it's to monetize your waiting time. Airports are not neutral spaces, they're built for one purpose, to make you spend without realizing it. Every upgrade, every policy, every offer exists to move money out of your pocket quietly. The less you know, the easier it is for them to control you. But once you learn the system, you stop being a customer. You become the exception. Remember, ask, verify, decline, and document everything. That's how you win against an industry that counts on your silence. Inside the plane, what happens after the door closes? When the cabin door closes, passengers relax. For the airline, that's when the real work begins, and that's when the truth hides best.
Most people believe once you're seated, safety and comfort are guaranteed. They're not. Everything that happens behind that locked door is a balancing act between time, money, and risk. Flight attendants aren't paid for half their work. You think cabin crew get paid from the moment boarding starts. They don't. They're only paid once the aircraft door closes, and that pay stops the moment it opens. Every smile, every greeting, every minute helping passengers find seats, unpaid. When a flight is delayed for an hour at the gate, they earn nothing. I've done that shift more times than I can count. You stand in heels for hours, unpaid, just to keep the plane on schedule. Airlines never mention this, because you'd start questioning where your ticket money really goes. Hidden crew bunks above your head. Long-haul aircraft like the Boeing 777 or A350 have secret compartments above the passenger cabin, crew rest areas. They're small, narrow, with no windows, 6 to 8 bunks, stacked like drawers. This is where the crew rotates for short breaks during 10 to 14-hour flights. It's not luxury, it's survival. We rest there just long enough to stand up again and smile. The next time your flight attendant seems calm after 12 hours in the air, remember, she just crawled out of a space smaller than a closet. The truth about airplane food. Airline meals aren't cooked on board. They're pre-made days earlier. They're stored, reheated, and served as fresh. If a catering truck is late, the aircraft leaves with the old batch rather than delay the flight. I've seen frozen meals from yesterday fly again today, wrapped, relabeled, and served to new passengers. What to do? Bring your own sealed snacks or sandwiches. Anything you prepare yourself is cleaner and safer than what's heated behind the galley curtain. The real story behind your luggage. Baggage handling looks automated. It's not. Ramp workers have minutes to load hundreds of bags. Gentle handling is impossible. If a bag rips or a wheel breaks, no one stops to file a report. It's cheaper for the airline to pay one complaint than to slow a flight by 10 minutes. What to do? Before check-in, photograph your bag, including serial tags. If it's damaged, demand a property irregularity report before you leave the baggage area. Without that document, compensation is almost impossible. How altitude actually affects you. Cabin pressure equals roughly 8,000 feet of altitude. Oxygen levels drop, humidity falls below 15%. That's why you feel tired, bloated, or dizzy after long flights. It's mild hypoxia and dehydration. Airlines could fix it. Increasing humidity would make you feel better, but it would also corrode the metal faster and cost more in maintenance. So they don't. What to do? Drink 500 milliliters of water per hour of flight. Avoid alcohol and coffee. They dehydrate you. Move your feet, rotate your ankles, and stretch every hour. You're not weak. You're just sitting in a pressure chamber built for profit, not comfort. Turbulence is worse than it used to be. From 1979 to 2019, severe clear air turbulence increased by 15%. Warmer air means stronger jet streams, and radar can't detect them. Still, airlines prefer to keep the seatbelt sign off as long as possible, because when passengers sit still, sales go down. The faster you unbuckle, the more drinks and duty-free items get sold. What to do? Stay buckled. Most in-flight injuries happen when passengers just stood up for a second. When emergencies happen mid-flight. If you hear the phrase technical issue, it can mean anything, from smoke in the cockpit to hydraulic loss. We're trained never to say emergency unless legally required. Panic costs more than truth. Every unplanned landing or precautionary diversion is coded language. The fewer details you know, the safer the brand image remains.
Pilots are exhausted more often than you think. Federal rules allow pilots to work up to 14 hours with only 8 hours of rest in between. That rest includes travel to the hotel, food, and briefing time. In reality, they may sleep 5 hours or less. I've seen captains close their eyes for 2 minutes before descent. They call it a controlled rest. You don't hear about it because it's allowed, and because admitting fatigue would ground half the flights in the system. Final checklist. Cleanliness. Wipe your tray, armrests, and belt buckle. Never drink tea or coffee made on board. Use a tissue when adjusting air vents or touching lavatory surfaces. Health and safety. Stay buckled whenever seated. Drink water every hour. Bring your own food. Choose the back of the plane, it's statistically safer. Money and rights. Ask for priority check-in if needed, it's your right. Photograph luggage before check-in. Request sealed bottled water by saying, I have a medical restriction and need sealed water only. Mindset. Don't rush, don't assume, don't trust premium labels. Ask, verify, and document everything. Airlines won't tell you any of this, they don't want you to know, because every secret you uncover costs them time, money, and control. Now you know it all. If I missed something, tell me in the comments. I'll film part 2 and answer your questions directly. Thank you for staying with me to the end. I worked hard on this and shared the most guarded information from my years in the sky. Was this helpful to you? What will you take with you